Hey everyone, welcome to SouthCoast.fm, the home to the We Are Here podcast. It's an entrepreneurship, business building podcast specifically for the South Coast Mass region. Super excited to get this thing off the ground. And then it dawned on me that maybe many of you tuning in for the very first time, you don't know how to subscribe to a podcast. You might not know what a podcast is. Hopefully we can get through that together. But if you don't know how to subscribe to a podcast, let's show you how to do that right now. I know that many of you have iPhones out there, and this video is going to specifically walk us through setting it up on your iPhone. If you have an Android phone, or if you have your own podcast catcher app, chances are you already know how to do this if you already have your own podcast catcher app. But the podcast is still waiting for approval in the Google Play Store. Once it is approved, you can just search through Google Play to find this podcast and subscribe through there. But if you're brand new to podcasts on iTunes, here's how we do it. You will need the podcast app from iTunes. You can go ahead and install that on your iOS phone or iPad, just like you install any other app from the App Store. Once you have that set up, you'll be able to search for the We Are Here podcast using the keywords South Coast MA in the podcast, or in iTunes if you're doing this on your Mac laptop or iMac desktop. Once you search for South Coast MA in iTunes or the podcasting app, go ahead and hit return. You'll see the big bright red logo for the We Are Here podcast. That's who we are. That's what this podcast is all about. Go ahead and click on that logo. Then you'll be able to subscribe to the podcast right from your phone, your iPad, or your Mac desktop. Once you're subscribed, you'll get these podcasts every time that they're released. Depending on when you're watching this video, we're still a couple weeks out from the full show being released. You can listen to the preview show. You can kind of hear what's going on and what's to come for the We Are Here podcast. One last thing, I know it's still early on in the podcast, but if you can leave a 5-star review, if you're super pumped and hyped to get a great entrepreneurial podcast for the South Coast area, just go ahead and scroll down just a little bit on your iPhone or iPad and go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. You can either leave us 5 stars and that's it, and that's awesome, or you can write a little review talking about maybe how excited you are, or maybe how excited you are for our first guest to join the show. We'd really appreciate that 5-star review. It helps us get found. It helps us sort of rank up a little bit more in iTunes. It's a big competitive space, so we'd love to have your support. So that's all we have for you in this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave us a 5-star review if you're excited for this podcast to launch. And one last thing, go ahead to SouthCoast.fm. That's the website, just www.southcoast.fm/subscribe. And there you can join the email list. It's going to be the #1 way to stay connected to this podcast. It's going to be the first place that we post when new episodes are out. And we have some giveaways coming up for our upcoming episodes, along with the guest that's on the show. It's going to be super exciting. So don't forget, southcoast.fm/subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.